Hello, this is Furry Murray 7, and this is the second video in my series in my conquest of getting rank 1 in the map 100 to 1. And now this time I'm playing as Deathstroke. In my last video I was playing as Batman, and this time I got a lot higher rank. I got all the way up in the really high rankings, even though I made a couple mistakes at the end. But in this map I'm doing Deathstroke. Now, if you are having trouble with combat, keeping your multiplier high and getting a lot of points and stuff like that, watch my video on the combat training. Watch my combat training videos. Now, the combat training videos are more than just telling you how to finish the map. In those videos, I give you really nice tips on all of the things, you know, that the training, those training maps are about. I give you some really nice tips on how to use those moves in a real game and how to use them to maximize your score. And I give you some really nice tips on combat in those videos. So make sure you watch those videos, and make sure you watch my other combat videos. In every single one of my combat videos, I always give you some really good advice on combat in general. Of course, there's so much that could be said, it can't all be said in one video. So that's why I split it up into multiple videos that you can watch that teach you basic, intermediate, and some advanced strategies in combat. So make sure you watch those. Now you'll notice that I'm actually doing the special combo disarm and destroy moves a lot more often. You remember that in my previous video I was doing this as Batman, and I actually didn't have access to that move yet. Just in case you didn't know, Batman actually has the ability to destroy weapons, any type of weapon. But in order to unlock that ability, you have to do a side mission in the story mode called the Bird Most Wanted side mission. You have to complete that side mission, then you can destroy anything, almost anything that anybody can carry in a combat map if you have a high enough multiplier. And so it's a good idea to destroy the riot shields with those, not only because it gets rid of the weapons, you know, riot shields and knives and things like that, but also because that move actually does not do any damage. And so performing moves that don't do damage but still increases your combat multiplier, those moves, that's a great way to help increase your score to get an even bigger combat multiplier. So instead of just using moves that could knock them out, when you destroy somebody's weapon, it'll give you a it'll give you +1. It'll add +1 to your combat multiplier, but it will not be able to knock out the enemy. So that's a great idea to use that as much as possible. Now, when you play as Batman, you won't be able to destroy weapons until you get the upgrade. But Deathstroke already comes with that ability. Deathstroke comes pre-packaged with all of the abilities and all of his moves without needing to play the story mode at all. So you can do all of this immediately, right when you get the game, really. As Deathstroke, you can perform all of your moves. So Deathstroke can be a great way to, you know, practice those moves, even if you don't have those moves with Batman yet. So make sure you do the disarm and destroy against the riot shields. You can choose to use the disarm and destroy against the enemies with knives if you want, but keep in mind that if you manage to do a blade dodge takedown, that'll give you 100 points times your combat multiplier. And so 100 points can really stack up, especially if you already have a very large combat multiplier. 100 points can be very good, but if it can be a little tricky doing blade dodge takedowns. So make sure you watch my video on the blade dodges, and also watch my video on the blade dodge takedowns, because in those videos I show you exactly what you need to do in order to pull those off. So if you can manage to pull off a blade dodge takedown while you have a high multiplier, it'll give you a ton of points. But it also, if you're not very good at doing those, it can lead you to lose your entire combo. So sometimes it's better to just stay on the safe side and destroy the knife, because it's really not necessary to do blade dodge takedowns all the time, because 100 points is a lot. But there are other things you can do. It may not be worth as much as 100, but it's still it can still add up to quite a few points. Also, the thing that you'll notice is right now at this point in the game, I'm starting to run low on enemies. I only have about 15 enemies left. And so you'll notice that I'm actually trying to focus on the ninjas and the martial artists. And the reason why is because when you get down, and this is true in every map, not just this one. When you get down to your last few enemies, as few enemies as possible, you should try doing ground pounds on those enemies. What you do is you do a super stun on them to get them on the ground and make them stay on the ground for a long time, and then you can do a ground pound. Now the ground pounds are worth 75 points each, times your combat multiplier. So that's why it's a good idea to use that at the very end of the match. The very last move you do should be a ground pound. And so that's what I'm trying to do right now, but the only thing is you can't do ground pounds on ninjas or martial artists. So if you want to do that, you're going to have to get rid of the ninjas and martial artists first, before you're able to do ground pounds on anybody. So, as I'm whittling down my competition here, I'm trying to not take down the regular enemies and only take down ninjas and martial artists. So now you can see here, all the ninjas and martial artists are gone, and I'm doing my super stun. Stun them 3 times in a row, and they'll lay on the ground for a very long time. Now, what I actually meant to do, you'll see me do a mistake right here. Right after I do this enemy, I wanted to jump over and get that enemy, but the thing is, I missed my I lost my combo, because I thought that that enemy was going to get ready to get back up pretty soon, and I might not have time to do an evade before I do the ground pound. So I just tried for the ground pound. It turns out I was too far away. But I got more than 1,000,000 points on that run. Still pretty good, even though I made that one little mistake at the end. I still got pretty good, and I still got rank 21. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you watch my other videos, and please make sure you like and subscribe.